Today I want to talk to you about the dead lower leaves on this Echeveria Azulita. So a lot of times people will start to see dead leaves like this and they'll start to worry and think that something is really wrong with their succulents. Now, in this particular case, this succulent has been overwatered, and I know that, one, because it's only been watered every 3 to 4 weeks, and it's in this concrete pot which absorbs a lot of water, meaning that the soil is going to dry out really quickly. But two, because of the quantity of dead leaves, and then also the fact that some of these upper leaves on the plant are very limp and dull. They're not as firm and plump as they normally are. So in this case, these dead leaves at the bottom definitely mean that the succulent is underwatered. However, that is not always the case. Eventually, succulent leaves will die, but usually if you only have a couple healthy leaves at the top and then some really dry, crispy leaves at the bottom, that can be a good indicator that your succulent is not getting enough water. So if it's just a few, you're probably not underwatering it very much, but if it's a lot of them like this, that's a good sign that you should start increasing your watering frequency. So once you see the leaves like this, it's really important that you remove them, because dead leaves like this can cause problems for your succulents. It can actually lead to problems with the stem. Water can get trapped under there and it can start to rot. And then you're a lot more prone to get mealybugs, or at least it's a lot harder to catch them and prevent them. So what you'll want to do is just grab some tweezers and then reach in as close to the stem as you can, gently squeeze and kind of wiggle away and pull off those dead leaves. Now, as you do this, you'll want to be careful and look at what you're doing, obviously, but pay attention to what's around the stem. So you can see Azulita here has quite a few babies coming off it. And oftentimes when you're removing dead leaves, you'll actually find babies growing right here along the base of the stem. And so you want to be careful not to remove those, because it's fun to have little succulent babies. So it's a good idea to go slow, just take a few at a time, and be very careful with how you are inserting the tweezers. But you can see here, I'm just trying to grab really close to the stem and then squeeze and gently pull away. Sometimes I'm wiggling a little bit. When they're dry like this, a lot of times they'll break off in the middle of the leaf rather than removing straight from the stem. So you can just come back in and remove more of it. For removing leaves off of a baby like this, you want to be pretty careful because you don't want to pull the baby off of the mother plant. So again, just going slow. So you can actually just come in with your fingers and gently rub off these dead leaves. Now you'll want to try and make sure you're not touching the top of the succulent, especially on an Echeveria like this, because it does have that kind of powdery coating, the farina, that acts as a sunscreen for your succulent, and that does not grow back. So once you've touched it and removed it from your plant, it's not going to come back again. So you'll have a little mark, a little fingerprint wherever you've touched it. All right, so now that I have this pretty well cleaned up, I am going to go ahead and add more top dressing. You can see some of the soil has kind of come up in this one, and just as I've moved it around, I've displaced it. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more top dressing just to make it look finished and cleaned up, and it'll look like a whole new arrangement. And there you have a very cleaned up and freshened up Echeveria Azulita. For more details about how to grow Echeveria Azulita, check out the links in the description. And if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, share it with all of your succulent loving friends, and I will see you next time.